Thanks for joining us today for our Specialty Products Overview webinar. All right, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. My name is BJ Hentrup, and I'm the Marketing Manager here at Zoeller Louisville. We appreciate you joining us today for our Specialty Products Overview webinar. Before we get started, I wanted to cover a few details. Please note the email address written below the title on your screen. Should you have any questions after we wrap up today, you can send them to webinars@zoeller.com and we will get back with you. And we'll also allow a window of time at the end of the presentation to open it up for chat for an official question and answer period. Now that those details are covered, I want to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is BJ Hentrup, and I've been with Zoeller for about 15 years. Currently the marketing manager for Louisville-based brands, which is Zoeller Pump and Zoeller Engineered Products. I have a bachelor's degree in business management from Indiana Wesleyan University. In my time with Zoeller, I've previously worked in technical services, which is now called product support. I've been in inside sales and also worked in product development as a product line manager. I also spent a little bit of time at one of our rep agencies for almost a year. So now that you know a little bit about me and my background, let's go ahead and get started. So here's the agenda for the day. We're going to talk a little bit about high temperature pumps, hazardous location pumps, an agricultural pump that we have. We're going to talk about our HVAC line that we have, elevator and vault system, and then we'll wrap it up with some other products that you may not know that Zoeller has to offer. So first off, we'll talk about high temperature pumps and the applications included for the high temperature pumps. When you think about these pumps, the applications that come to mind would be boiler blowdowns, hot water transfers, plant washdowns, industrial steam cleaning, and also used in some transformer vaults. Within the high temperature pumps, we have a couple different series. We have our 2000 series and our 3000 series. On the screen now, you will see our 2000 series, so we'll start there. All models within the 2000 series are designed to meet the specifications with assurance by using high temperature parts that are rated for intermittent 200-degree contact. Also, the high temperature switch components are also rated for the intermittent service up to 200 degrees. You'll see I have intermittent italicized there. That's very important to pay attention to when it comes to the 2000 series versus the 3000 series. The 2000 series is able to handle the intermittent temperatures up to the 200 degrees. So if you're in an application where you're seeing 180 degrees, 190 degrees, and it's getting up and touching 200 degrees, but it's not staying at 200 degrees, that's when you would want to use the 2000 series. And as you can see on our performance curve over here to the right, we do have a variety of different options and performances based upon whatever the specifications need, how many gallons per minute, and what your total dynamic head is. We have a few different options. So within the 3000 series, pretty similar. We offer a couple more different options there, but all models are designed to meet specifications with assurance by using high temperature parts that are rated for continuous 200-degree contact. And the same things with the switching components, they're rated for continuous service up to 200 degrees. So whereas the 2000 series was more of an intermittent type use, again, when it's touching 180, 190, getting up to 200, but then going down, the 3000 series can handle continuous 200 degrees Fahrenheit with no issues. And like I mentioned previously, it's available in a variety of different styles of performances. I'll mention here as the pump performance curves up here, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the 98 and the 137, our 160 series, or 280 sewage series. All of those mentioned are available in a high temperature option. So the next type of pumps we're going to talk about is hazardous environment. So a little bit about hazardous environment. Just wanted to explain the definition when it comes to SWAPA, which is the Submersible Wastewater Pump Association. A hazardous location is an area where the possibility of explosion and fire is created by the presence of flammable gases, dust, vapors, flying things, fibers, anything like that. That is what is identified as a hazardous environment. A few things to note when it comes to Zoeller hazardous environment pumps. Our pumps are tested to the FM standards 3600 and 3615 by CSA. Those are important when it comes to specifications and what these explosion-proof style pumps are rated at. A couple different classes of the pumps. We have Class 1, Division 1, Groups C and D, the rated Class 1, Zone 1, Groups 11A and 11B, gas areas, and then also Class 2, Division 1, Groups E, F, and G, and Zone 20 in dust areas, and that is only available for commercial duty and sewage. Those classes and divisions and groups will make sense to you if you ever see a specification or somebody that is asking for a hazardous environment pump and you see that, just know that our pumps are rated for that. One last thing to mention on this page is the Zoeller pumps that are hazardous environment rated are offered in both non-automatic and automatic. And that's key when you're talking about an automatic pump, which you can see on the right-hand side there. It's got a float that rides up and down on the rod. To my knowledge, unless something's changed out there in the industry, we're the only one that is manufacturing a hazardous environment pump that is automatic. And the big deal about that is if it's automatic, you have that float ball that rides up and down on the rod that's turning the pump on and off. Whereas in a non-automatic pump or system, you would need a control panel with intrinsically safe relays and low current float switches. So you're adding cost by going the non-automatic way and adding a control panel and adding float switches. Whereas with the automatic version, the only thing you really need to do is we offer a seal fail panel, because these pumps come with seal fail indicators to let you know if something has happened, the seal's failed, water's getting in the pump some sort of way. To give you an idea on cost savings, just by going the automatic version versus a non-automatic with a control panel and float switches, you're saving about 26%. So that's a huge amount. And just remember that there are options available. You may see on a specification out there that says we need a pump with a control panel. Just know we can do that, but also we can do it in an automatic version where you won't have to worry about control panels and float switches. So within the hazardous environment pumps offering, we offer multiple options. We have explosion-proof pumps in the effluent and dewatering, which are the X160s, 180s, and 190s. We also offer them in sewage and dewatering, which is the X280s, X290s, the X400s, and the X600s. And then on the grinders, we offer it in the X840 series. So we'll talk a little bit about each of those, the effluent, the sewage, and then the grinder. I just kind of show you an overview, a high level view of what we have to offer. So within the effluent and dewatering, we have pumps that go from the X160s up to the X190s, which is a 0.5 horsepower up to 2 horsepower options. When it comes to the voltage and phase, we go from 115 volt up to the 575 volt 3-phase. Now, talking about the discharge, within this effluent series of pumps, we offer standard 1.5 inch NPT discharge, but also you can get these up to 3-inch NPT discharge. All the pumps within this series come with a non-clogging vortex impeller. If solids passing is critical when it comes to these specifications that you're reviewing, just know the X160 and X180 series passes 3/4 inch spherical solids, whereas the X190 series passes 5/8 spherical solids. So when it comes to the pump performance, I wanted to throw these up here just to give you an idea of the broad offering from the X160s up to the X190s. You know, within the 160 series, you have the pumps that can go out to 100 gallons per minute on the X161. Or on the X165, if you need a little bit lower flow than that, but you need higher heads, the X165 can get up almost to 90 foot of total head. And then for the X160s and X190s, when you're looking at the gallons per minute, it gets a little bit over 140 gallons per minute down there at 5 and 10 foot of head. And then for a higher head, super high head for the X190 series, these pumps go over 130 foot of total dynamic head. Within the sewage, now the sewage and dewatering, which is the X280 and X290, and then a couple others which we'll touch here in just a minute. Within the sewage series, it also is 0.5 horsepower up to 2 horsepower. Same thing on the voltage and phase. It's 115 volt single phase up to the 575 volt 3-phase. It's standard 2-inch, or you can get it in 3-inch NPT discharge. The impeller is also a vortex style impeller, and the spherical solids on the sewage, whereas the other ones have smaller spherical solids passing, the 2-inch sewage ejectors will be able to handle 2-inch spherical solids. Same thing here, just would like to show you the difference in the pump performances and the broad offering within the X280s and the X290 series. If you're looking at the X280 series, the 284, which is the 1 horsepower version of that, can get out to 180 gallons per minute, go up to 35 foot of head. And then when you go to the X290 series, with the X295 being the biggest pump there, you can get heads up to around 75 foot of head. On the lower end of the curve, you can get performances up to 210 gallons per minute, anywhere from 5 to 10 feet of head. So going bigger in the sewage and dewatering section of explosion-proof pumps, we have the X400, which is the X404 and the X405. The 404 is a 2 horsepower. The X405 is a 3 horsepower. Voltage is a little bit different here as the pumps are getting bigger. We're not offering the 115 volt single phase here. We do offer 230 volt single phase up to 575 volt 3 phase. The discharge here for this sewage, whereas the other ones we just talked about in the X280 and 290 are 2-inch and 3-inch. This is a 4-inch flange discharge, as you can see in the picture there. Regarding the impeller, it also is a non-clogging vortex impeller. And with the X400 series, it can pass 3-inch spherical solids. And then here's the pump performance curve for the X404 and X405. If you need a little bit more flow than the ones we've talked about previously, whether it's sewage, whether it's dewatering, you get the X404 that goes up to 33, 34 foot of head and can pump out almost 300 gallons per minute at 5 foot of head. And then if you go up to the 3 horsepower version, the X405, you can get almost 40 foot of total head. And then at 5, 10 foot of head, you're getting anywhere from 325 to 350 gallons per minute down there at the lower end of the curve. The next offering within the sewage and dewatering is our X600 series. These, like the X400s, are the more commercialized version. We offer 1 horsepower, which is the 611, up to the 661, which is our 7.5 horsepower. The voltage and phase here within this category of pumps is 230 volt single phase up to the 575 volt 3 phase, just like the X400 series. In the X600 series, though, you have a few different options of discharge capabilities. So as you can see here on the left, you can get the 3-inch NPT discharge for national pipe thread, or we offered in 3-inch flanged or 4-inch flanged discharge. The impeller here, up to this point, we've heard vortex impeller. This X600 series has a semi-open impeller. So I'm going to stop here and then just give you a little bit 10,000 foot view, quick difference between the vortex impeller versus a semi-open impeller. When you're talking about the vortex impeller, the vanes of the impeller do not come in contact with the fluid that's being pumped. It is a super reliable option. It's a non-clogging design, but typically it does lesser flow than a semi-open impeller. But again, it's not coming in contact with any of the fluid. It's creating that vortex and it's sucking up the fluids and pushing it out without actually hitting the impeller. Whereas on a semi-open impeller, the fluids and the solids or whatever's going through it, it must pass through the impeller vanes, which means the vanes of the impeller are coming in contact with the fluid or with the waste or with whatever's coming in contact with it. And then you always have if there's a lot going on, you may see potential clogging or jamming when you use semi-open versus the vortex impeller. But just know that when it comes to these X600 series, it can pass large solids, like 2.5-inch spherical solids. So if you take a look at this pump performance curve for the X600 series, going up from the X611 up to the X661, you'll see a variety pump performances, many different total dynamic head options. Like the 661 can get, over 550 gallons per minute at 15 feet ahead, and that pump can go over, 60 feet of total dynamic head if you're needing a low flow options. But what I do want to point out here is on the dashed lines that you see in the pump curve. It's a little bit different than what we've seen in some of the products that we've talked about before. These are the single phase pump curves. So the 641, the X641 and the X651 at single phase does do a little bit difference of a performance than the 3-phase options. So the next category of pumps we're going to be talking about is the agricultural pumps. The 4290 and the 4291, these are a little bit, special. They're designed for lagoon or even pit applications. And as you can see in the top right-hand corner, of the screen, you'll see this pump being used in lagoon applications for recirculation. These pumps are half horsepower, which is the 4290, 1 horsepower, which is the 4291. You can see the performance curve over there at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. These pumps are available in 2-inch or 3-inch NPT discharge. The spherical solids passing for these pumps is 1.5 inch. The large clearances to prevent stoppage from buildup in solids is great on these pumps. The applications for these, you can use them in poultry, swine, cattle industries, anything when it comes to the farming and agricultural side of things. This is a perfect pump. Now looking at a completely different line of pumps is going to be some non-submersible style. This is going to be our HVAC line. This is what we're showcasing on this slide is the condensate pumps. So right now we offer a couple different models. We have the model 519, which is our standard model, which is shown up at the top right of your screen. And then we offer a low profile model, which is the 522, which is that picture at the bottom. Both of these can handle condensate up to 140 degrees. The total dynamic head it can handle is up to 20 feet. Both of these are wall mount units. One difference is when it comes to the inlet options, the 519, again, which is the standard one, has 4 different inlet options, whereas the low profile is going to only have the 2 inlet options due to the gallon capacity, which is the next thing we'll talk about. For the 519, the capacity is a half gallon, whereas the 522 is a quarter gallon. Both of them will have the 3/8 inch discharge. Both of them have a stainless steel shaft. Both of them will have a built-in safety switch and check valve. Both of them will include a 6-foot power cord with ground. Both are thermally protected and both come with a 2-year limited warranty. Do note that both of these options are available with the tubing, the clear tubing that you'll see being used in these applications. The next thing within the HVAC is our scale removal system, what we call the SRS. So you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, it's used for tankless water heater and it removes the line buildup within the tankless water heater units. That's a quick little diagram of how it's set up, and you'll see a package of it up at the top right-hand corner. It is pre-assembled. It comes with the hose, the tank, and then one of our floor sucker series, which is a 6 horsepower pump, and it includes the fittings as well as an internally reusable sock that captures the debris that are in there. One thing to note that it does meet the flushing requirements for the tankless water heater systems that you see or where these systems are used. So the next thing is the elevator and vault system, what we call our oil guard system. We offer it in a few different ways. We have prepackaged systems, which you'll see over here to the right on the chart, or you can build your own system where you pick the pump, pick the switch, pick the alarm panel, or pick the pump, and then get a control panel, whether it's simplex or duplex, which is simplex is 1 pump, duplex is 2 pumps. But these oil guard systems are designed to help protect the environment from any oils or hydrocarbons going out into the system wherever it's going. Again, applications that we already talked about, elevator sumps, transformer vaults, and used in numerous manufacturing facilities. If you're looking at the product itself, where you have the pump here in the middle of the screen, this is just a little typical setup. It's not going to be exactly as pictured. This is just to kind of show it on the screen here. That lower unit, that lower item is the pump switch. It has a shorter probe and a longer probe. That shorter probe is the on point. So when the water level is raising up inside this vault or inside the elevator shaft, it makes contact with that smaller probe and it turns the pump on. This pump switch is a piggyback style switch. So the pump plugs into the back of that and then it plugs into the 115, 110 outlet. Then as the water level lowers and gets off of that longer probe, that's when the pump shuts off. Let's just say you have an application where you have a sudden inflow of water. The pump is working, but maybe it's not keeping up because all the sprinkler heads in the system have gone off for whatever reason, and now all this water is coming into the elevator shaft if you have it tied in there, into the pit there, and the water level continues to rise. If it gets up to that higher sensor, that's the alarm sensor, and it's got 2 little probes on it, one to detect water and one to detect oil. So it'll let you know on that alarm panel what it is seeing inside the pit. One thing to note here is the way this is installed is the pump switch, should be about 3 inches from the top of the pump. So what happens is if there is oil on top of the water, as it's rising up, that pump switch is not looking to sense that oil. The pump switch is only sensing the water to know when to turn on and turn off when water's in the system. If oil is in there, nothing's going to happen. It continues to stay on top there until it reaches, let's just say it reaches that alarm sensor, and boom, it hits that alarm sensor and it lets you know, hey, I have oil inside the pit. I need to get somebody out there, need to get that oil out of the pit. Our pump systems within the oil guard system, if it senses oil, it does not shut the pump off, because you still want the pump to be able to pump the water that's below the level of the oil. Now, there are some units out there, not ours, that if it does detect oil at all, then it shuts the system completely down, which is not what you want. You want this thing to be able to continue pumping the water in the system, even if there is presence of oil. But again, when that sensor, the alarm sensor, detects that oil, it sends that notification to that alarm panel, and wherever that's mounted, you can even include, the electrician can use the dry auxiliary contacts that are within the alarm panel, and you can run wire from this alarm panel to wherever else it needs to go to give notification to the maintenance person, whomever can see this and get these notifications that I need to get out there. There is oil in the system. It's not going to be pumped out. I need to get out there and somebody needs to take care of it. Just note that we do have the simplex panel options for one pump and duplex panel options if you're in an application with two pump systems. So the prepackaged system is great, but there are some specifications out there. There are some jobs that are required to have an actual control panel, not just a pump switch and alarm panel, but control panel. And that's where we offer these both simplex and duplex panels. So we've talked about some of the products that are within what we call our specialty product section. I still wanted to show a couple slides up here that shows maybe some other products. Some are newer products, some we've had for a little bit, but I wanted to showcase them up on these next couple slides to show you all what we do offer. Zoeller is more than just sump pumps and sewage pumps and dewatering pumps. We offer many other things. So right here on the left of your screen is our new 915 pre-assembled Shark Series grinder system. It's a 24 by 24 system. This one that's pictured here is a grinder pump. It includes a grinder pump, but we have a 912 system, which is specifically our sewage. And with the sewage section, are the sewage products within these basins, they are available in simplex and duplex, whereas with the grinder pumps in the 915 systems, it's only available in simplex, which is the one pump. But I wanted to show this because, as you can see in the picture in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a revised and an updated cover, a functional cover, a more aesthetically pleasing cover. It comes with a construction cover. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got a clear construction cover, to whereas if this basin is being installed and then the house is being built around it, we'll say, and then this clear construction cover comes to protect and make sure nothing falls within that pit. You'll see the two holes that are in there in a simplex system. You got one of them's the vent and one of them's a discharge. But then in a duplex sewage, which again is our 912, both of those will be used for the discharges, and then we'll drill a spot in the little blank area for the vent. What's really cool about this system is you see our little logo there, what we call the Zoeller meatball. That is functional. So you can actually take that, grab it, and turn, and that will allow you to inspect and access inside that pit. It will allow you to see, you can pop that off, very easy to get off, look inside the pit. And then we also have a float tree in there. It's a spring-loaded float tree that has easy access. You can see it in that top picture up to the top left. And you just kind of push down and pull out, so you can, if there's sewage buildup, toilet paper buildup, whatever it is, you have easy access to spray down those floats within the system. And then we have bigger package systems. What I show here on the second picture is our QLS systems, which is the quick lift stations. Those are more, light commercial with fiberglass basins. We have blank fiberglass covers, we have steel covers, we have aluminum covers, hatch covers available. Just know that we do have those. So we're not just offering small package systems, we have bigger package systems as well that can go, 10 foot in diameter and 10, 15 plus foot deep. The next thing here pictured is one of our drain pumps. Just to let you all know that we do have little drain pumps. So if you're, you have a little laundry tray application, or if you're putting, a wet bar or anything in the basement, and you don't have any gravity, we have these systems that can go under the sink and pump it up to wherever it needs to go. The top right-hand corner is our Quick John Premier. Maybe some of you are familiar with our Quick John Ultima. We've had that up flush system for numerous years, but we've kind of did a little revamp with the Quick John Premier here. It's a 1/2 horsepower grinder pump. The tank is better looking. It's aesthetically pleasing. We know if you're spending money on remodeling a basement bathroom, putting a bathroom in the basement, and you have this unit, if it's not going to be behind the wall, it's going to sit directly behind the toilet, then we want the people that's going to be using that bathroom to know, hey, you got a nice looking system setting behind your toilet, and not just some, rectangular box that maybe doesn't look good. So that's the Quick John Premier, which is the grinder pump. We also, it's not pictured here, but we have a Quick John Choice, which is a macerator version. And if you're looking for a little bit, more cost-effective version, the Quick John Choice again is a macerator. It's made to handle, your human waste and toilet paper, whereas the Quick John Premier with the grinder pump can handle a little bit more, feminine products, flushable wipes, those sort of things. And then the 803, 805, 807 down here at the bottom right-hand corner are our residential grinder pumps. That's 1/2, 3/4, and 1 horsepower grinder pumps. We offer them in automatic, where the float ball rides up and down on the rod like you see pictured there. And then we also have the non-automatic version that can use a piggyback style switch or be used in a control panel. Just some other products to note that we have. We have our APAC indoor and outdoor alarm. And as you can see here with the indoor version, not sure if you all are familiar with the Z Control, but with our products that are Z Control enabled, like the APAC shown here in the top left, and like some of our battery backup pumps that you'll see over here on the top right with the Aquanaut system, anything that you see that has Z Control on it, it has notifications that it's going to be able to be sent to you, text, emails, whatever it is. You get these notifications to let you know what's going on with your system. And with the battery backups, you can also, the specific ones that with the Z Control, you can test them, you can run them from your device. The 540 Flex is a water powered backup. So if you have an application that you may not see a whole lot of water coming into your system, but you need some sort of backup, but you don't want to spend the money on the battery backups and have to use batteries or anything like that, we have a water powered backup, which is the 540 Flex, and it simply uses the water, the incoming water from your home, your city water. So as long as you're paying that water bill, this 540 Flex will work when it's called to use. It uses a suction, so it has a diaphragm switch there. So when the float lifts up to turn this on, it creates a suction or a venturi, which sucks the water from the sump system from inside the pit and uses the incoming water supply line that you have in your house, and it creates that suction and siphon and pushes the water out of your system. So no batteries, no power required. It's only using the water that's within your city water. And then the other thing here is just note that we have booster pumps, our city pressure booster pumps. We have a 1/2 horsepower version, which is our model 350. And then we have a 1 horsepower version, which is the 355. One nice addition that we've included on our corporate website, which is www.zoeller.com. We have Zoellerville, which is an interactive city or town that can show you multiple applications. So with it being interactive, you can click on multiple places within that city or town and see what products Zoeller Company as a whole has to offer. Again, that's on www.zoeller.com. So this concludes the presentation portion of our webinar. I hope you found this information valuable. And if you do enjoy our webinars, which we hope you do, we want to be sure that we also offer in-person training and live virtual training sessions at our Zoeller University on-campus location, which we call the Zoeller Center for Excellence. The Center for Excellence is a 6,000 square foot facility that we have a classroom area up in the front for lectures and demos up in the front, but we also have a demo room back in the back for a more hands-on learning. Our CFE staff can tailor any of the courses for anyone, whether you're a beginner needing Pump 101 training or even if you're a more seasoned vet or professional. And if you can't come to us, no, we always have the capabilities and ability to come to you with Zoeller University on the road with our product trailer. Our product trailer is stocked with our latest products, demos, swag, and much more. You can reach out to your local representative to schedule a visit from the Zoeller product trailer for your next counter day or event, or even book a trip to the Center for Excellence. It looks like we have a question on what are the time limits for intermittent and continuous. We don't technically have a list of what the specifics are. There's really nothing that we've ever called out that says this is the amount of time that it can run. Just know that continuous can handle up to the 200 degree with no issues at all at a continuous 200 degrees. It looks like we have a question on the agricultural pumps with its ability to pass grain, hay, and straw, and how are they affected by animal hair. These pumps are better when it comes to handling these type of things because they are used in farming and agricultural applications, but you just know that it is best to still get some of that filtered out before it comes into the pump system here. So we're going to go ahead and conclude the question and answer period. And with that, we'll wrap things up. Thank you again so much for taking the time to join us today. I hope you have a great rest of the day.